This book was so unique, the plotline so unique. Get the audiobook. Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. Today we are going to talk about all the books that I read in October, and the first book is an adult gothic dark romance. It is Master of Salt and Bones by Keri. After I read Nocticadia, I really wanted to read the second book that we got in the Fake Rate Opus collection because I really liked the writing style. The vibes of Nocticadia were top-notch, and this delivered. First of all, the setting of this book was everything that I was looking for in a gothic romance. We are in a big old mansion made of bones. So the atmosphere was straight up dark and intense. And I also felt like we had elements of a psychological thriller because we have a secret society that involves very influential men. And what they do in there is horrific, to say the least. You need to read the book to discover it by yourselves because a lot of trigger warnings are going in there. And also I love the MC, the main characters. Both of them are very broken. Lucian and Isadora, both of them lived through very devastating things and like very sad pasts. And they also call Lucian the devil of bone salt because of rumors surrounding his character and things that happened in the past people believe in. And like people are very scared of him. This was Beauty and the Beast meets Phantom of the Opera and Jane Eyre, and I loved every single page of it. It was a slow burn, very angsty and twisty, and the plot line will keep you turning the pages. To be honest, with this book and also Nocticadia, I'm falling in love with Keri's writing, and this deserves your time. Definitely highly recommended if you are looking for an intense dark romance. This one and Nocticadia are for you. And the next book that I picked up was the Pumkin Spice Cafe. You see the cover? You see this? It is exactly that. They illustrated exactly what the book was about, and I really appreciate that. If you are looking for a small town romance with all the full vibes, cute, cozy, charming, spicy, this one is for you. I really enjoyed it for what it is. Super cozy, gave all the Gilmore Girls vibes, and it was a dual POV, and the romance between Jeannie and Logan was so wholesome and cute. And I also enjoyed the added mystery and the cat. Don't forget about the cat. I would say this is the perfect read in between heavier books. Yes, definitely going to continue on with the series. I really enjoyed it. And the next books that I read were the third and the final book in the Belladonna series, Foxglove. I reread Foxglove and read Wisteria. You already know how I feel about these books. I love them. I love this series so much. This is one of the best, top best YA, gothic, paranormal, fantasy, romance. It was so good. I loved it so much. And Wisteria was so romantic, and it literally ripped my heart to pieces, and I loved every single moment of it. I really loved this. The ending, depending on your liking, may be your cup of tea or not, but I would say that it wrapped up nicely. I really liked it. I would love to see more of these characters in this book in the future. And yeah, it was so emotional. To be honest, I didn't expect it to make me like so sad and like tear up and cry. I didn't expect to cry, but maybe also because the series has ended, and also it was so emotional, especially towards the end. It took me by surprise, all these emotions, and like I found myself crying. I love this series so much. It has a special place in my heart. I will forever recommend these and reread them in the future, of course. I love these characters. Perfect. I love this. The next book that I picked up was Bonded by Thorns by the duo Elizabeth Helen. We received this book in the Romantasy box, and I really wanted to read it because it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling with a reverse harem. We have 4 Fae princes and our main female, beautiful main female character here. And she's a mortal human. First of all, I enjoyed the castle setting so much. The atmosphere in each wing is distinct to each prince. We have the 4 Fae court, the summer, fall, winter, and spring. And each wing that belongs to a certain prince has a different vibe, a different atmosphere. Everything is different. It's like you entered the autumn court or you entered the spring court. I like that very much. And also what I loved, and I mentioned it in my Goodreads review, if you follow me there, each prince has a distinct personality that you will never get confused. I really appreciated that. For the romance and the plot, I didn't feel like a lot of things happen. For the romance, yes, we have a little bit of development, but for the action and the development of the plot, not a lot of things happen. I felt that this book was like setting everything up for future books in the series, and I don't mind that at all, to be honest, because this is a longer series. And with that being said, I'm definitely going to continue on with this series because I really like these characters. So yeah, this was Bonded by Thorns. The next book that I read was The Coven. The Coven is a gothic fantasy with witches, and in this book we are following Willow, and Willow goes to or gets called to Hollow Grove University to enter this program that they have for the most brilliant witches, but in secret she is going to execute her father's plan for revenge against the Coven. I really liked the magic system in this book. I thought it was so cool. I really loved seeing Willow using her powers, and also I loved the setting. The magical school nestled somewhere where no one can access without an invitation, like no one can see them, with intense gothic atmosphere and dark academia vibes. I really loved it. The only thing that was missing from the dark academia part is that we don't have a lot of interactions between Willow and her fellow students, and we don't have a lot of scenes, taking classes, talking to professors. That's the only complaint that I have, that the thing that I noticed was missing. I wanted more of that, like the day-to-day life of a student in this magical school, and like building more solid friendships with the other students. We also follow Gray. He's a professor, but he's also the headmaster. He's broody, he's vicious, he's our MMC, and he's also hiding a secret. We have dual POVs, we have real enemies to lovers and a real forbidden romance. I would say if you pick up this book because of the dark academia elements, don't do it. You will not find it here except for the setting. But if you want a forbidden romance and enemies to lovers and a book that is more focused on the romance part, definitely pick this one up. The vibes are all there and I really enjoyed it. And with that ending, definitely going to pick up book 2 as soon as possible. I have it on my November TBR and I cannot wait to pick it up because that ending was insane and I didn't expect it at all, and I need to know what's going to happen next. Yeah, that was The Coven. And the next book that I picked up was A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. I was scared to go into this book because I didn't know what to expect. I thought it would be a little bit scary, but it's not scary at all. It has gory scenes, but it's not scary. It was also dark and sad, to be honest. We are following this girl. Her name is Cordelia. She's 14 years old and she's living with her mother. She's the most evil witch ever. I hated her with passion. She was awful. And I really felt bad for Cordelia and the things that she was going through. And like, it was her real mother. I mean, how could you do this to your own daughter? I mean, usually we are used to the plot of the stepmother and the stepdaughter and stuff like that being evil, like the Cinderella story. But this is her own true mother. She was a nightmare of a mother, and it really made the book more dark and more intense. Poor Cordelia is living through cycles and cycles of disturbing parental abuse, and also being controlled and manipulated for years. This book reads like a paranormal thriller with a lot of twists and turns, and I really enjoyed it. The story was so unique. Definitely recommend it for fall. The next book that I read, I decided to pick up the graphic novel Pumkinheads. We are following Deja and Josiah. They are going through the pumpkin patch routine of each year. They meet each other at this pumpkin patch and they work there for the fall and Halloween season. And this year was the last year that they will be working there. So it is their last shift. And since it is their last shift, this time they decide to do things differently. They decide to go on an adventure in the pumpkin patch, and at the same time trying to find the girl who Josiah had a crush on for several years. This will give you all the cozy, warm feelings. It was sweet and fun and perfect for this season. The next book that I read was Death at Morning House. This is a YA mystery thriller, minus the thriller part. I'm sad to say it, but let me explain. In this book, we are following Marlo, and Marlo is going to start, because of something that happens at the beginning of the book, she's going to start a new summer job at this very big mansion called Morning House. It was built on an island in the 1920s. The family lived there, and shortly after that, it was abandoned because of deaths that happened on that property. This book had a dual timeline between the past and the future. And I really, really wished we stayed in the past because I couldn't care less about what is happening in the present timeline with this group of teenagers. I was more interested in the wealthy family that lived in this house in the 1920s with their weird routines and like weird parents or parent. And like their story and the vibe was way more interesting and enthralling. I was very, very excited to pick up this book. I had high hopes, and maybe partially that was my fault because of the author. Maureen Johnson is the author of this book, and her series, Truly Devious, is very popular, and I heard only glowing reviews about those books. So I was like, okay, this is a standalone, and it is going to be amazing, a 5 stars. But unfortunately, like I didn't get those feelings when I'm reading a thriller. Usually you get those like heart pounding, turning the pages. You want to know what's going on, what is happening. And you're like, you feel lost at the same time, addicted to the book. And like you cannot put it down. I didn't get these feelings at all with this one. So yeah, that's why. And it wasn't thrilling. It wasn't thrilling. I gave it, I think, 3 stars. Because of the past timeline, I adored what was going on in the past. That got me hooked. I wish we got the whole book about that family. We didn't need the present timeline, in my opinion. So yeah, that's why I gave it 3 stars. The next book was excellent. It is set in the 1990s, and we are following a women's book club that must protect its suburban community from a man who they suspect is a vampire. We have female friendships and some humor, but as you progress, it gets more intense and more gory. And what made me furious is how women in the book constantly got gaslighted for their thoughts or for their suspicions. And I loved how the book was told from the POV of a housewife and her friends, and how they are experts at cleaning up messes. And we follow Patricia as she's determined to protect her children and the neighborhood's children from this predator. And her unwavering determination and scheming, and like when she believes something is off, something is going on, she just does not give up. I love this about her so much. This book was so unique, the plotline so unique. Get the audiobook because the narration with the southern accent was amazing, so immersive. I loved it so much. Definitely recommend this one. The next book that I reread was Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I love this book. I mean, it's a reread, so you already know. It's a 5 stars. The narration, the audiobook also for this book, it's a must. It's a must. Steve West is such an excellent narrator. You need the audiobook. I love this book so much. I have no complaints, zero complaints. The characters, the plot line, the dialogue is amazing. Yes, perfect for this time of the year. I loved it. And the next book that I read was Phantom by Greer Rivers. This is a modern, dark retelling of Phantom of the Opera, and I really enjoyed the representation in this book. The FMC had a bipolar disorder. I've never read a book with that representation, and I really felt for her so much, felt her struggles through the pages so much. She was trying so hard to avoid another manic episode because she didn't want to end up in a mental institute. And I adored this man right here. Soul, his duality, the duality that the author chose for his character, how he is so ruthless and cutthroat with everyone but Scarlet. He's so kind and so gentle with her, and we get to see his pining for her and his vulnerability towards her because he isn't sure if she's going to accept him with his dark past and all his scars and disfigurement and everything that happened to him in the past. And I found the chemistry and the passion very delicious and beautiful, and also the mafia plotline set in modern day New Orleans was very interesting, and it added a lot to the tension in the story. I would 100% recommend this. I really enjoyed it, and the audiobook was on point. I really loved it too. And yeah, that was it for me today, book besties. If you made it this far, leave me the mask or the piano emoji. And if you enjoyed this video, please watch one of these videos. That would help me out a lot. And subscribe and join the beautiful community of book besties here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!